In life, we often try to stay honest, work hard, and stick to our values, hoping that one day our efforts will be rewarded. But what happens when our integrity is put to the ultimate test? This is a story about a choice that changes everything. Many years ago, in a small, quiet town, lived a young man named Jake. He was known for his kind heart and unwavering honesty. Though life wasn't easy, he held on to his principles, believing that good character was his greatest wealth. Every morning, he would set out his small cloth pouch empty, hoping to find work to support himself. He'd walk through the bustling market, his eyes scanning for any opportunity. But more often than not, he returned home with nothing but tired feet and a heavy heart. The world seemed to have no place for a simple, hard-working man. One evening, as the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the dusty road, Jake was walking home, feeling defeated. He had searched all day without success. His shoulders slumped, his head hung low, and the disappointment was a familiar weight. Just as he was about to turn onto the path to his humble home, a gentle but firm voice called out from behind him. "Young man, could you spare a moment?" Jake turned and saw an old man with a long white beard sitting by the roadside. His face was etched with the wisdom of many years, and his eyes held a calm, observant gaze. Beside him were 3 large, heavy-looking duffel bags. Jake, despite his own fatigue, approached with a kind expression, always willing to help someone in need. "I need to get to the next village before nightfall," the old man said, his voice steady. "But my old legs can't carry these heavy bags all the way. Would you be willing to help me carry one of them? I can pay you for your trouble." Seeing the old man's struggle, Jake didn't even think about the pay. He simply nodded and said, "Of course, I'd be happy to help." Jake bent down to lift the first bag, but as his hands grasped the rough fabric, he was surprised by its immense weight. He strained, his muscles tensing, and sweat beaded on his forehead. "This bag is incredibly heavy," he exclaimed, looking at the old man with surprise. The old man smiled faintly. "Yes, because it's full of bronze coins," he replied calmly. A quick glance inside confirmed the bag was filled to the brim with dull brownish coins. With a determined grunt, Jake heaved the bag onto his shoulder. The weight was significant, but his spirit was strong. They started their journey, walking along the winding dirt path. Jake carried the bag of bronze coins, while the old man, surprisingly spry, carried the other 2. The sun began to dip lower, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Soon they arrived at the bank of a wide, shallow river. Smooth stepping stones formed a path across the clear, flowing water. They had crossed the first leg of their journey. The old man paused, turning to Jake, who was already preparing to cross. "Young man," he said, his eyes seeming to peer right into Jake's soul, "I'm not sure I can manage this next bag across the water. Can you carry one more for me?" Jake, already halfway across the stones, turned back. The old man held out the second bag. "But promise me," the old man continued, his voice lowering slightly, "promise me you won't run away with it. This bag is filled with silver coins." Jake felt a prick of indignation. His honesty was being questioned. He looked the old man in the eye, a little offended, but took the bag without a word. The glint of silver from within was bright, far more valuable than the bronze he already carried. But the thought of betrayal never crossed his mind. He was a man of his word. Even the temptation of a bag full of silver couldn't sway him from his values. With one bag on each hand, he continued forward, his stride confident and his conscience clear. The old man followed, his expression unreadable. After crossing the river, their path led them to the base of a tall, grassy hill. The last rays of the setting sun bathed the entire landscape in a brilliant golden glow. It was a beautiful, almost magical sight. The old man stopped again, breathing heavily. He looked at the last bag, then at Jake. "I can't climb this hill with this final bag," he sighed. "My strength is gone." Without hesitation, Jake replied, "Then give it to me. I'll carry it." He extended his hand, ready to take on the final burden. The old man paused, his gaze intense. He held the bag tightly for a moment before speaking. "Be careful," he warned. "But this bag has gold coins." He opened it just enough for Jake to see the unmistakable, dazzling shine of pure gold. The value in that one bag was more than Jake could ever dream of earning in a lifetime. Jake took a deep breath, lifted the third bag, and began to climb. He was now carrying all 3 bags, bronze, silver, and gold. The weight was immense, a true test of his physical strength. The old man remained at the bottom of the hill, watching his every step. As Jake climbed higher, alone with the treasure, a thought like a poisonous whisper crept into his mind. "If I run away with these bags, I'll be rich. I'll never have to worry about work or money again. The old man is frail. He could never catch me." The temptation was overwhelming. The golden sunset seemed to mock him, illuminating the path to a life of ease and wealth. His heart pounded in his chest, a war raging within him between his lifelong principles and this sudden, powerful greed. Torn and conflicted, he made a choice. He started running. He scrambled up the hill, the heavy bags swinging wildly, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He didn't look back. He ran and ran until he reached the safety of his small, dark home. Slamming the door shut, he dropped the bags to the floor, his heart still racing. This was it. His life was about to change. With trembling hands, he untied the ropes and threw open the first bag. He stared in disbelief. It was filled with nothing but small, gray stones. Frantically, he opened the second and then the third. Stones. All of them just worthless stones. His world collapsed. As he knelt there, stunned and heartbroken, his eyes fell upon a piece of aged parchment tucked inside the last bag. He picked it up. It had an elegant script and was sealed with a faint, golden royal mark. He began to read. "I am the king of this land," the note said. "I have been searching for an honest person to be my heir, someone to entrust with the future of my kingdom. I disguised myself to test the character of my people. You were so close. You passed the test of bronze and silver. Had you passed this final test of gold, you would have become my heir and inherited all my wealth." Tears streamed down Jake's face. The old man, the king, had offered him a kingdom, and he had thrown it all away for a bag of stones. The weight of his regret was far heavier than any bag of gold. If only he had controlled his greed for just one more moment. If only he had remained true to himself when the final test came. Our thoughts are like seeds. We can choose to plant seeds of honesty, compassion, and integrity, or seeds of greed, doubt, and fear. The choice is always ours. What we nurture in our minds will eventually grow into the actions that define our lives. So let us make sure the seeds we plant in the garden of our minds are filled with peace, positivity, and honesty. Because true wealth isn't found in a bag of gold, but in the strength of our character and the peace of a clear conscience. If you feel this story can inspire others, please share it with your friends and family. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that make you think. See you next time.